Before we go, one more thing I wanted to hit on, something you brought up right at the very beginning, was the fact that the world of agentic AI and processes and tools and so on will not just be chatbots talking to chatbots. That we will be looking at additional types of tools in these tool chains. Some of them may be deterministic, conventional software platforms. Some of them may be you know, data platforms and different ways of querying structured and unstructured and even multimodal data. Others may be, you know, generative AI processes. Do you see an entirely new type of software industry emerging here to support agentic tool chains?
I don't think an entirely new industry. No, I suspect you're going to get um, some startups that are covering part of the process, part of the kind of the software development process, the governance process, the kind of agentic ops process. So we had it before. When you kind of go back to there's a kind of category called application performance management that cropped up, and this got nothing to do with AI at all, really. I mean, this is just how our applications are managed, and that cropped up, and then you have when predictive, when classic machine learning started to come around, you had ML ops, machine learning operationalization, and then you have slightly different problems. So when you've got a model, if you had a rules based model that only does the thing that it's programmed to do, that's fine. And obviously, if the thing falls over, you can restart it and stuff like that. What the fundamental difference between that kind of software and AI is obviously the model adapts, it learns, it decays, it drifts, it does all these things. It's almost, it's not, but it's almost organic in nature. And so that is where you have the challenge around that ML ops is kind of supposed to create. And then we had a load of specialist vendors, and a lot of them are still around that cropped up to do that. I think we're going to get the same thing with agentic ops, if that's what the phrase is going to be. But some of those will get bought, some of those will survive, and some of those will go by the wayside. But you're also going to get all the application vendors of any scale. So, Salesforce, Oracle, Microsoft, Workday, ServiceNow, all these companies are obviously building out their own agentic tools, platforms, applications. Everybody wants to be the platform, but not everybody can be. And then you've got obviously the hyperscalers doing their thing, and then all sorts of other companies offering agentic tools. We are seeing a little bit of this bifurcation between the companies that are going after as we said earlier, the probabilistic creative opportunities. So those aiming at marketing departments have had quite a lot of recent of strong traction because they're solving a problem that really could not be solved until generative AI LLMs came around. It was just basically impossible. And then those that are dealing with more deterministic things sitting on top of relational databases, so CRM, ERP, and all those kind of things. So we're seeing a little bit of bifurcation there, but you're going to get some winners out of that, I suspect, that will either survive or have a good exit, the financial exit or something like that. So I don't think. But then again, as I mentioned earlier, this is the first time where we've had pure play AI companies of any scale, and OpenAI is certainly off scale. And it has ambitions from the device to applications and everything in between. Obviously, it's known as a model provider, but it's obviously trying to build chips, it's trying to build devices. It's however how well it gets on with that, we don't know. And they're obviously now influencing, where data centers get built, how much energy is used. This is an incredible development in the space of a decade from scratch. And so you are going to get those kind of companies. You wouldn't necessarily that's peculiar to agentic, but it is peculiar to generative AI, which agentic is based on. And so I think it's going to be really interesting to see how that company and one or two others of massive scale influence the way the rest of the software industry goes. And I think we're going to have standards. We've got MCP servers and we've got A2A protocols, and there's going to be more. There has to be more. Then it's a question of who becomes, who's the platform, who's an enabling layer within it that makes it work properly, who are just trying to sell apps and they'll use anybody's agentic platform and tools vendors and stuff like that. And then obviously the chips underneath. And so, companies are always looking for companies in the sense of enterprises that buy this stuff are always looking for options and looking for diversity. And whether that be down the silicon level, where at the moment there isn't much diversity, or right up the application level, where there obviously is. So I think it's going to be a fascinating few years in the agentic AI space.